Bandwidth for First Updates Now is supported by AndyMark. Are you competition ready? Go to andymark.com and keep your team inspired. And by the Blue Alliance. Keep up to date on all live and archived First Robotics events and team stats at thebluealliance.com. First Updates Now is brought to you by viewers like you. Fun relies on the generous support of our fans in order to continue to keep creating content. Please consider donating, giving bits, or subscribing. Subscribe for a few bucks a month or for free through Twitch Prime. And don't forget that our subscribers get 5x chance to win on all giveaways.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the show where we don't have any snow. It's the Southern Fried Region Recap. Since this is our first show, we're going to go around the horn here and introduce ourselves. For me, my name is John Fogarty. I'm the head coach of Team 1102 Making Magic, and I'm a software engineer for a company called MealViewer. We do a lot of digital signage stuff, so if you ever go to school in your lunchroom and see a screen with like YouTube and menus and stuff, it was probably for me. Take it over. How about you guys?
My name is Sky Leak. I'm actually not from the South at all, not even regardless anywhere close. I did travel to Alabama once.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm from North Dakota, and I'm learning the Southern culture, I guess. But I'm with Team 876 out of Northwood, North Dakota. We're right next to Grand Forks, which is the Great Northern Regional, first one this year. But yeah, so I do scouting and stuff like that.
So I'm Catherine Tice. I'm originally a student on 4462 out of Knoxville, Tennessee, but now I'm in college, and currently I'm an intern for AndyMark. So I'm enjoying that and trying to, see a lot of other teams in the area. Also not here tonight, but usually we'll also have a great guy named Ben. He's from the PCH, and so he'll be bringing a lot of the other content from that area to you guys.
So competition season is nearly upon us, as you all well know, and there are only a few days left before the week one competitions kick off. There are 4 events happening this week in the southern U.S., and it's going to be pretty interesting to see what strategies teams are going to employ for the first week. Tonight, we're going to preview some of the tournaments and that we'll be recapping next week. And of course, we'll be talking a little bit more about who we think are some of the strong potential contenders. And then you'll get some of our takes on what we think about overall parts of game strategy. So to kick things off, we'll start with where I'm from in South Carolina, in the Palmetto Regional. 64 teams are going to be taking the trip to the beach for some fun in the sun at the Palmetto Regional. This regional is the largest week one event, and we might get to see some high-level action on the field pretty early on. Making the trip down the coast to South Carolina for the first time in a good while from the New England district is Team 125, the Neutrons. We saw a little bit of their robot during the official first week 0 event in New Hampshire, and it looks like they have quite an interesting multi-climbing system. It wasn't quite working yet at that week 0 event, but knowing the Neutrons and their previous historical week 1 performance, I'm betting that they'll have it going sometime during the midpoint in Palmetto. Also escaping from the cold, you'll see Team 1923, the Midnight Inventors from the Mar region. And they, from what I saw on their Twitter account, have what looks to be a solid all-black everything elevator-style robot that I'm sure JVN is a huge fan of. And I fully suspect they will contend for the Chairman's Award as well. Now, for those of you that turned into the reveal night on Saturday, you know that Team 4481, the Remembrance, have quite a spectacle of a machine. They're making the long-haul journey for the Palmetto Regional, coming all the way from the Netherlands. They've got themselves a pretty short but extremely capable robot, and I honestly, truly love their robot's design. If you haven't seen their reveal video yet by chance, you are really missing out. You should go check it out. Now, let's talk about some of the home state competitors. We've got a shot of Team 4451 Robots Garage's 2018 robot they've called Thunderbird, and it looks like another really elegant solution coming out of Fountain Inn. Now, if you're at the event at Palmetto and you haven't heard of 4451 before, they won't be hard to find. Take a walk through the pits and you'll find them pretty quick. Their pit is literally a 10 by 10 by 10 foot tall garage. And it's got a ceiling fan in it, like things you don't see anywhere else coming from South Carolina, I tell you. Next on the list, we've got some more Bosch teams from South Carolina. Team 342, the Burning Magnetos, who revealed their robot on Saturday. They're on Team Swerve again this year, and it looks like that's going to help them quite a bit with maneuvering around the field and stacking cubes pretty quick. And interestingly enough, they've chosen Banebot wheels for their intake instead of the more standard popularized AndyMark compliant wheels. Not that I'm knocking compliant wheels. I like them a lot. And then rounding out the low country of South Carolina, we've got Team 3489 Category 5, another Bosch team, and they hope that they're going to be the first team from South Carolina in the Triple Climb Club, gaining some inspiration from Go USC, Team Robot in 3 Days, Team Cockamamie, that demonstrated that triple climb wing lift during the beginning of the build season. So to round out South Carolina, we've got a couple other teams that I definitely think you guys should pay attention to if you're watching online or if you're at the competition. Team 1319 has a great-looking robot. 3824, HVA Robotics, always has this really solid robot, and if you ever look at it up close, you'll notice that a large parts of it are usually 3D printed. The Oak Ridge National Lab up there helps them do some really cool stuff that you don't typically see with any other team. Other teams to watch, 1876 Beachbotics, 2383 the Ninjineers from Florida, 1369 Team Minotaur, also from Florida, and then Robots Garage's sister team, 6366 Ramrods Robotics, is usually a pretty good contender. And then coming into talking about a little bit about chairmans, it's going to be, I think, a little bit more close of a race this year. I expect teams like 125, 281, the Green Villains, 1923, the typical favorite 2614, and maybe even 4451. Now, 2614, Mountaineer Area Robotics, has been consistently winning chairmans at Palmetto for a couple of years now. So it'll be interesting to see how things turn out at the end of the competition. So, Scott, what are you excited to see at the Chesapeake District?
Thanks, John. Moving up the Eastern Seaboard, we enter the Chesapeake District. We have 39 teams poised to descend on Haymarket, Virginia for the third running of the Northern Virginia event. 21 of these teams are set to return from 2017, including the 2017 Chesapeake Bay District champion 6334 AHC Transformers. Other notables, we have Team 623 Oakton Cougar Robotics, 1731 Fresta Valley Robotics Club, 2363, and a personal favorite of mine, Triple Helix, 2534 Lumberjack Robotics, and 4472 Supernova. Together, the above teams combined for 8 blue banners last season. Once the qualification round dust settles, my best guess and bias is that 2363 Triple Helix, with their insanely quick lift, will end up on top. They may not have the glitz and glam some other teams out there, but they are rocking a 6-sim, 6-wheel Coulson drivetrain, and they have shown themselves to be quick, if not a little bit tippy. I'm also horrified that they, or similar robots, and there's a lot of cascading and synchronous lift teams out there, will inadvertently skewer the bottom side of the scale a la 125 in week 0. And we probably won't see the Neutrons make that same mistake twice. I'd like to congratulate at this point our only rookie team, 6893 Blade Runners, on their highest seeded rookie seed and their Rookie Inspiration Award. Chairman's is undoubtedly going to come down to a showdown between 116 Epsilon Delta, they won in Northern Virginia in 2016, 612 Chantilly Robotics, they won in Northern Virginia in 2017, and 2363 Triple Helix, they won in 2017 in the Hampton Roads event. Catherine, what are we looking at the Lone Star State?
Yeah, thanks, Sky. So I'll just jump in. Going back to your area, I think a lot of people are really excited to see Triple Helix, especially. They've been really public with their prototyping process. They got, I think, like 40,000 views on their YouTube video.
Oh,
It's
their
a ton. So
intake. Oh man.
yeah, so I
Yeah.
think everybody, including myself, is really excited to see how they do at this competition. Um, but going down way down south to Texas, this weekend we'll get to see one of the most anticipated events of the year going down and at the Dallas Regional. So we've got some of the biggest names in FRC with 118, 148, 1477, and they're going to be getting their first plays of the year. But we're also going to see it's a very young event. Over half, about half of the event had their rookie year in 2014 or later. And so this is going to be really exciting. It's going to be a very dynamic event, a dynamic regional, as we see a lot of new faces and new teams come in here trying to get a win. Also, the competition is going to be fierce. But talking about rookie all-star, there's 10 rookies at this event. I mean, that's just an enormous amount. And so the competition for rookie all-star may be more fierce than the competition itself. I'm excited. I'm can't wait to see what rookies claw their way to the top out of this one. So even though we have a 118, 148, these two of the best teams in FRC at the top gunning for an early blue banner here in Dallas, there are lots of other teams that could swoop in looking for an upset. 1296 Full Metal Jackets, I've got a great team name, by the way. They may be looking to sort of come in, seed high, split up that 118, 148 combo, and maybe take out an event win this time. A couple other teams, 4206, the Robovikes, and 3005, the Robo Chargers, are kind of in that same position where they could come in, if they can seed high enough, if they could somehow split up the 118, 148 combo, or even pick up, Texas Torque, one of those other teams, they could really come in here and take this regional. It's definitely, it's very much still an open competition. A lot of teams could come in and really prove themselves and take this event. As for the third robot, there's a lot of contenders. Like I mentioned, there's a lot of young teams. One of the top ones, 6672 Fusion Core, they seeded first at Dallas last year as a rookie. I mean, I don't know how common that is, but I think that's just awesome as they were able to seed first at a pretty competitive event as a rookie. This year, they're coming in their second year. They've got a lot of high hopes. They're riding in, so they may be able to come in and they could be anywhere, but they also could be a really strong third robot to really round out a strong alliance. Another strong second pick would be 5431 Titan Robotics. They built a really simple, effective robot last year, a Gearbot, and they could carry that forward this year and really go far with a strong alliance. Finally, rounding out the Dallas Regional, we'll look at Chairman's. So Chairman's is a pretty back and forth event at this award at this event. A couple of the big names is 1296. They could, I'll mention them again, Full Metal Jackets. They could easily take Chairman's. Also 2723 Team Rocket. They're really top runner, top in the contention for Chairman's for this event. So I gotta say, Dallas, I am looking forward to watching it. Definitely be the one that you should keep your eye on this weekend. Keep the webcast up, see how that goes. That'll be one of the most exciting events of the year, in my opinion.
Yeah, I definitely think it's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah.
And so, coming into what our good friend Ben would be doing, I'm going to give you a little bit of an insight into what's going on in the Peachtree district this week when we're going to be coming up into Gainesville. I'll actually be there myself along with Ben. My team 1102 is competing at the Gainesville district event. And we saw a couple of pretty cool robots. I don't know if you guys know this, but the Georgia district, they offer 4 separate different practice fields in cities across the state for teams to go to at any time during the competition season to go practice at. And so the past week before Bag Day, I got to go up to Atlanta and check out a couple of robots and practice with ours. And there were a couple of cool things I got to see. Team 1414 IHOT had a really great machine-looking robot that they probably are going to be one of the top competitors, I think, up at Gainesville. And, of course, Georgia's got 2 Einstein competitors in Team 4188 and 2415 from this past year that I'm sure will be doing very well this year up at Gainesville. I'm not sure who will be the top at the bar for chairmans, but you've got a lot of really high quality teams in 1311 Cal Robotics, 1648 G3 Robotics, even 1746 Auto, and you've also got teams like the Robo Lions and Walton Robotics that will be probably top tier contenders for the Peachtree district. But let's see what happens when this week's competitions get started. So this year, it's going to be pretty interesting on the field, and we have a lot of varying opinions on what would happen when the gameplay gets started. What do you guys think about what drivetrain level kind of defense is going to play in this year's game? I saw in a lot of the reveal videos that people were actually choosing a little bit more of an omnidirectional drivetrain than you would have thought when you first saw the reveal. I know that my team in particular, we even chose Mecanum, though at the beginning of the year I was like, 8-wheel tank drive, let's do it. But then you watch other teams and you're starting to see teams like 987 where they have an omni-wheel drivetrain, and there's even more than just that. What do you guys think is going to happen this year with defense?
I actually think we'll see a decline in the traditional defense of like just ramming and impeding other robots' progress. This is the first year that we've had sort of a defensive game objective since 2007, maybe 2010. So like you can play defense by playing on the opponent's switch. We have an offensive defense, so I think we may even see a decline in just the traditional bumping and ramming that we often see.
I'll disagree outright with that. There's lots of choke points in this year's game, and if we learned anything with last year, is if you play the defensive choke points correctly, you can do some real damage as a number 8 seed. So once teams discover how difficult it can be to have multiple robots place cubes on their scale at the same time, and we saw this during the official week 0, where one robot could effectively keep pace with 2 just due to them getting each other's way. There's going to be some kind of tag team opportunistic defense with the avoiding of congestion. I don't want to draw complete parallels to 2014, but there's really only space, or if you're going to do it efficiently, there might only be space to do place one cube at a time.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see. I definitely think the safe zones add an extra dimension to it, so teams have to be careful if they're going to play drivetrain direct to like push your team around kind of defense. I mean, those safe zones you'll have to be on top of your game as far as knowing where you can and can't enter into the field and all that. But you do have a fair point. I'm honestly scared to see robots tipping over when they get high-speed contact in open areas on the side of the field when their elevators are lifted up. You got to train your drivers to know when to stay low, and if you've got an elevator, when it's safe to go up. So keep that in mind, teams.
Either way, I'm looking forward to seeing it. It'll be fun to watch.
It definitely will, honestly.
All right.
So.
Let's be honest. I'm just looking forward to the end of the year when we have the robot tipping over compilation.
Oh, God.
It'll happen. It'll be great.
Yeah.
All right.
Alrighty, guys.
So instead of doing FRC top 25 predictions, we all have kind of favorite robots and favorite reveal videos. And I'm going to start outright. I like 179, Children of the Swamp. Their robot is absolutely gorgeous. You gotta love smoky polycarbonate, but the thought process of their intake and the cube flip and lob through the robot, so good. As far as their video is concerned, they have excellent coverage of shots. They have wide, close-up, low, high, and as far as the music is concerned, all black everything. That song's gotta make 148 jealous.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I agree. I love 179's video this year.
It's a great video. So I'll let this one play through a tiny bit, but sort of my choice for the one of the best reveals I've seen this entire year, especially out of the southeastern region, is 1902 Exploding Bacon. They've just got an awesome song choice. The video itself is really short, concise. It gets to the point quickly. The robot, I really enjoy. I think it was a bold strategic decision. It's a short little robot, runs the switch and the vault really well. I think that was a good strategic choice, or it will end up being a good strategic choice from their point of view. I always love their team branding. That green and orange is just so distinctive and so recognizable. And boy, do those green compliant wheels look good on with that paint job.
Yeah, it really is a great looking machine, and I'm excited to see how well they do this year at Orlando. So, with that, everyone, it's time for us to end. Thank you to everyone who's watched us tonight. And if you want some more First Robotics in your life and you like what we do, all that you ask is you let others know about our show and that this is the place to go for more FRC. If you've got a few bucks to share, we appreciate it. But if not, we totally understand and we're delighted to have you on board. On behalf of myself, Catherine, Ben, Sky, and our producer Tyler, I would like to thank you guys for tuning in tonight, and thanks to all the moderators in the chat. Next week, well, of course, will be Week 1's Region Recap show, and until then, this has been the Southern Fried Region Recap. See you next time.